You know, rap is a competitive sport. That's how it was built. It was built in the South Bronx. You know, people battling outside.
People bump heads, you know what I mean? It's always like, rappers always talking like subliminal disses to each other. I think this one was a tension that was brewing.
The back-and-forth rivalry between Jay-Z and Nas should really go down in the hip-hop history books at this point. As far back as the 90s, the two giants of the East Coast scene have always been taking stabs at each other, whether it be in the press or on their own separate tracks. And we all thought that beef was over, but it looks like that might not be the case. You see, fans are convinced that Nas just took a dig at Jay-Z in his new song. So what did Nas say? And did he really diss Hov? Or are fans just running wild with their opinions? The story goes that the whole beef started when Nas ended up bailing on a recording session that Jay had been working on, leading to Hov dissing him back on the blueprint for the song Takeover. Fast forward just a few years later, and we have Nas matching Hova step for step on Ether, which has hip-hop heads still freaking out about how much he dragged him through the mud. As the years have gone on though, you'd think that the feud would be put to rest. Hey, since Jay actually got some choice words from his mother about what he said about Nas, there's bound to be some making up at some point. And it seemed to work itself out in the last few years, with no real diss tracks in sight, and the two even uniting on stage on more than a few occasions. Seems like they're ready to bury the hatchet, until just last year. When building up hype for his latest record, Nas let slip that Jay may have been getting too much of an ego on him, going on to say that Jay said he was better than Biggie Smalls ever was in his prime. It may have just been Nas trying to stir up some controversy, but for the OG hip-hop fans, that's bound to rub some people the wrong way. If you go back and listen to some of those diss tracks, there's also a lot of choice words that Nas has about Jay as a person. You can call him a Biggie clone or say that he's beneath you as an MC, but the misogynistic angle that Nas had on Ether also looks a little shallow now, considering Jay's very public ups and downs a few years back with his wife Beyonce. With all the millions that Jay has though, he seems to be spending the past few years really going through his life and seeing what led him to where he is today. From the kind of apologetic tone he had on 444 and establishing himself as a power player with Tidal, this man isn't trying to start up beef anymore. Even when he was featured on Ye's latest record Donda, his verse on Jail was still a lot more level-headed. As the man himself said,
"We know what hell look like, still it's a hell of a life." Yikes.
It looks like Jay knows he's not the young and hungry rapper anymore, and he said that he wants to serve as an example of how a rapper can age into the next phase of their life. That doesn't necessarily mean he's dropped all the harsh words every now and again. When on a call with Alicia Keys, Jay decided to flex by saying that no other rapper would be able to step to his level whenever he took the stage. It's not like that reputation isn't earned either, since Jay's one of the few rappers to make it to the god-tier level of fame and is still known as a legend in the rap game years after his start on Reasonable Doubt. If you're someone like Nas though, you're not just gonna let that slide. On his record, Magic, Nas decided to take some shots at his former sparring partner on Meet Joe Black, saying,
"Top 3, I'm not number 1, how could you post that?"
Considering everything that's gone on here, there's no way that this isn't a swipe at Jay, with Nas arguing that he belongs at the top of a hip-hop throne. That wasn't an accident either. In an interview following the release of the album, producer Hit Boy said that Nas intentionally wanted to fuel his competitive streak on an album like this. While Hova may have been talking about some of the new school of rappers that have come up since him, Nas does at least have some reason to think that Jay's talking himself up a little bit too much. After all, this is the guy who actually shared a stage with Nas on more than a few occasions, and suddenly he's talking about no one being able to work at his level? According to Hit Boy though, it was never the intention to go at Jay directly on some of these lyrics. It was just the mindset that he and Nas were going through at the time to make sure that they were giving it their all. And if there's anything that's gonna get them to drop some of the best bars in this category, it's someone that's trying to tear him down. With Hit Boy going on to say, rap is a competitive sport. Everybody talking their shit. You just gotta talk shit. As with all other technical skills, Nas knows that if you don't use it, you lose it. And this track is definitely putting those bars to use. As for the other fans, the battle lines between Hova and Nas have been drawn for decades now, and the defenders of Jay are not going to be going away anytime soon. After the release of this song, you can hear some of the Nas fans coming out of the woodwork to stand by him. Ever since the album got released back in December, fans have been bringing up the glory days of Nas' diss bars, with one fan saying Nas didn't need to go that hard on Ether. And that kind of dissing has only gotten better with with age for some of these hip-hop hits, with some people calling out Jay's comments directly. There's also a few shout-outs to the production on the song too, which makes it feel like a villainous track from its opening bars. As one fan put it, the entire intro of the song ended up sounding like Darth Vader's theme music from Star Wars. If you're gonna make something that's meant as a slam though, it might be nice to have something that's that intimidating on your side too. When blasting Meet Joe Black, one fan in particular talked about how Nas heard Jay running his mouth and decided to give answers in his bars rather than in the press. There are even people managing to put this one song as one of the greatest songs of 2021. In between the new school of bands like Silk Sonic and Vince Staples, they're still willing to put Nas in the same league, which is no easy feat considering the song itself came out just as the year 2021 was about to end. This isn't just people getting a nostalgic buzz off of hearing Nas over the years. There are even some new faces jumping on Nas' hype train for this song. These are the people who either didn't click with songs off Illmatic or are finally seeing Nas as the older and wiser MC of the past few years. And you don't have to give it to Nas just for the track record alone. Even when most other rappers are slowing down in their older age, Nas has been pumping out music like clockwork for the past few years, with King's Disease even nabbing him a Grammy in the process. Compare that to Jay, who's only had some guest verses here and there over the past few years, and the last proper album being a collab with Beyonce as the Carters. All we're gonna be left with now though is if Hova is gonna respond in kind to the choice words directed at him. Since Hova's never really been shy about his feelings in his bars, we may be looking at an update on songs like Takeover in the near future. Back in the day, Jay already had a song called The City Is Mine. If we're looking at the city of New York these days, Nas sounds like he might be giving Jay some competition for ownership though. That's all we know so far. What do the rest of y'all think of Nas' latest track? Is it some of the best bars he's spit in years, or do you think he's trying to get the fans riled up by dissing Jay? Be sure to leave a message in the comments and let everyone know. Other than that, make sure to keep it right here at RIZZLE so you don't miss out on the next rap beef coming down the pipeline. Take it easy.